them off, right? Or no?
I'll ask.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Legs, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there and it inspires me to keep creating. Guys, this has been such a good season of Big Brother so far. I feel like the feeds have been very peak. I've been laughing, I've been irritated, I've been wondering and questioning people's decisions. I personally love it when we get a house full of people that don't really know the game because it really makes for frustratingly interesting gameplay and feeds. So we are going to be talking about the pre-noms, nominations, the veto has also been won, and we had a couple of other little things, some game-changing twists. We had another returning winner. So let's jump right into this. So to catch you guys up to speed, our HOH is currently Jimmy. His original noms were Keanu, Kelly, and Adrian. Adrian being a pawn and Keanu seemingly being the target. However, prior to the veto ceremony, we learned through the HOH that 3 people won powers, one of them being Keanu, having double the chance to win a veto, and we find out a little bit more about that later. We find out Mickey has a power where she could steal an HOH, but the HOH gets a chance to ask everybody for 3 minutes questions and figure out who it is. If they guess correctly, that is gone. The power is null and void. And lastly, Kelly's veto is some type of, they kept saying survivor style, but then later on we find out that she actually will have to play some kind of competition of sorts to win it. I don't know, but it sounded like they thought she had to find clues and then she could get it. So let's jump into it. Let's rewind just a little bit to the pre-noms before we get into nominations. So Keanu, he was activated this morning. I think Keanu definitely felt like he was in danger. And as we know, Keanu doesn't have allies. Keanu doesn't have allies. He doesn't have social capital. He doesn't have really anything in this house. So of course, Keanu tries to go up to Jimmy first, and Keanu is lying through his teeth. He is lying through his teeth about voting out Amy. He's telling everyone it wasn't him. It wasn't him. He actually tries to throw the vote on Will, who ends up just admitting flat out, yeah, I did. I'm sorry. I was on the wrong side of the vote. He ends up admitting it later on. So once again, Keanu, your numbers don't add up, right? Even if, let's say you throw it on Will admits it, there's still a missing vote. So everyone in the house knew that Keanu was lying, but for some reason, Keanu decided that he wanted to try to lie and say that he voted for Amy to stay. I don't really get it, but in either event, Jimmy is like, okay, I don't know, Keanu, you've lied to me all this whole time. I thought we hashed things out outside. He keeps interrogating him, and it just makes no sense. They start to get into a little bit of who had this third power. They throw out the name of Reilly, but we obviously know that it's Keanu who has a power, as well as Mickey and Kelly. So Rachel and Keanu also have a very similar conversation pre-noms, where once again Keanu is word salading. He is saying that why would he vote out Amy? Why would he do that? It doesn't make sense for his game. Rachel keeps trying to interrogate him though to see if he has a power. Rachel asks him 5 times, so do you have a power? He's like, no, Rachel, I don't have a power. I don't. And this is one thing Keanu will do. I'll be like, wait, Rachel, let me talk. And then he'll proceed to talk about a bunch of nothing, a whole nothing burger. But Rachel keeps asking him, okay, Keanu, so do you have a power though? Rachel's telling him in this conversation, look, you have to earn my trust back. It's not going to be as simple as believing it. And Keanu's on some, I don't get it. I don't understand why. Why did I lose your trust in the first place? All I've done is tell you the truth, as he's literally lying through his teeth. And it's like, Keanu, every single person in this house knows you are lying. I don't really understand Keanu's brand of Delulu with this game, because everybody in the house knows you are lying. And if you had any sort of game awareness of where you stood in the game, you probably wouldn't vote with the other side of the house that doesn't have the numbers. But in either event, Rachel is like, so do you have a power? It was just so funny how Rachel could be like, do you have a power? Are you sure you don't have a power? And then you know Rachel knows that he has a power, but he keeps saying, no, I don't have a power. Rachel also tries to call him out on the variety of alliances he's in, and I found it really funny because she's like, I heard you were in like the 7-Eleven alliance. Keanu gets so offended. He's like, don't ever say that. First off, chill out on that. I could do way better than that name. I would never be in an alliance with that name. No, absolutely not. But I was not in the 10-person alliance. I just found it funny that the thing he was the most offended about was the fact that Rachel would suggest he was in an alliance called the 7-Eleven alliance. Delulu, absolute delusion. So Jimmy also tries to strike a little thing with Kelly.
People I'm considering putting up just because they're all likable.
He wouldn't be surprised.
Who?
Keanu.
Yeah, no, not at all. He'd be dumb to think otherwise. And he's like,
obviously Kelly knows she's going up, and she's likely going to go up every single week until she gets out. But Jimmy does reassure Kelly that the target is 100% Keanu, that is the plan, that is the intention. And if he feels that she is going to go out, he's going to take her off. Obviously, we know Kelly has an extra power, so all of this is nonsensical. And I will say this, over this day, Friday, and then yesterday, Saturday, I just feel like Jimmy needs to be very careful, in my personal opinion. I think Jimmy is starting to make a lot of lofty promises to a lot of different people. And we even see Jimmy sort of struggle with who are the additional people he's going to put up if he has to renom, because he has alliances with so many different people in the house. So for me, I was definitely like, Jimmy, let's sort of roll it back. You can't promise every single person that you have the votes. You're gonna take them down. They're gonna be safe. You have all these people. It's just gonna catch up with you, I feel like. You're in power this week, but let's not forget that people remember a lot of different stuff. Keanu continues to go around the house. He's with Amy and Rachel now, swearing that he did not vote Amy out, but the numbers just don't add up. And again, not one person is fooled by Keanu and his big lies, and that starts to become a thing through the whole day. Jimmy, the HOH, is aware that Keanu is literally going around the house lying to everyone, but Will has his conversation with Jimmy as well.
And he is the target this week. I want everybody to vote him out. I don't want anybody to use the veto on him. And that's just where I stand. I want to be very upfront and honest with people about how this week's going to go.
Of course, everybody has their little conversations with Jimmy in the morning, and Jimmy straight up is like, did you vote to evict Amy? And Will's like, yeah. Will's like, I'm not gonna lie, I literally thought I was on the right side of the house, and I was not. So, hey, if that's my downfall, I get it, but I genuinely thought that's where we were going, and I wasn't really aware of what was going on, basically. He says he just doesn't want to lie about his vote. He doesn't want to sit here and not tell the truth because it's obviously very, very clear. And Jimmy does make Will aware that Keanu has been trying to throw his name under the bus overall. But Jimmy does let Will know, you are not the target. I don't really want to vote you out, but we'll have to see if you go up, basically. Kelly and Ashley.
So it's tough. It's a tough choice. But this house is tough.
And one thing I will say about Kelly is that it seemed like over the past few days, Kelly has certainly gained a little bit more social capital than someone like Keanu, per se. Kelly and Ashley have a conversation, and Ashley essentially lets Kelly know, hey, look, I'm not voting you out no matter what, period. So again, it seems like Kelly starts to get some people that maybe, just maybe, might consider actually keeping her. Especially because I feel like, again, it's pretty known that the powers are out there. People know that Kelly has a power for sure. So whether it's because they know she has something and they believe she's going to take herself off, or what the case may be, we see her also have a similar conversation with Rachel yesterday. And again, I'm just saying, it seems like, do I think Kelly is still going to be thrown up by default a lot of weeks? I do. But if we're ranking people, Keanu's the bottom, and then maybe Kelly is right above him. That's the ranking for me so far. So Jimmy then talks to Vinny, confirms that his nominee, or that his target, let's say, is Keanu no matter what. Don't listen if you hear Keanu say something different. I'm just telling everybody what they want to hear, basically. He says that he loves Lauren and Catherine, but he does realize that they are going to float till the end. And at this point, he also claims that his replacement nominee would be Reilly if either person came down. But if he finds out that Will lied about the power, then his replacement nominee is going to be Will. And mind you, he continues and proceeds to think that it is Will that is the third person that has this power, even through yesterday. Reilly and Zach, they make a little bit of a final two. They're whispering to each other, talking about, I want to make it to the end with you. I want to make it to the end with you. I see you. I see you. And then Zach also has a conversation with Morgan about Keanu. I mean, the whole topic of conversation this entire day was Keanu and how bad he was lying. Not one person bought what he was selling. But Zach is basically talking about how during the competition, Keanu came up to him with a piece in his hand and a second piece, and he was like, hey, test this piece out. While Keanu had a piece in his hand, and Zach's like, well, obviously he knows that the piece he has in his hand is the one because he's tested it already. So why would he come up to me and say, oh, I haven't tested this, I haven't tested this, I haven't tested this, if he has a piece in his hand? It just doesn't really make sense. So again, it just goes to solidify that no one, zero. I think Keanu legitimately has zero allies, but the feeds do go down for a little while and we come back to our nominations. So, as expected, noms are Kelly, Adrian, and Keanu. And the target is Keanu, if not Kelly. So, Ashley and Amy, they actually have some conversations throughout. Vinny and Catherine, they are starting to get pretty fed up with Ashley. And I will say this night, Ashley was doing things that were starting to kind of tick people off. There was a little incident in the kitchen. So once again, I think Ashley is another one who's sort of on the outs herself. I think that she definitely needs to be careful because I do think that she would be one of those people that would be thrown up. And it's like, hey, if she goes home, she goes home. If she doesn't, she doesn't. Especially for a lot of those people in the house, a lot of the guys and people who are not really aligned specifically with the girls. And Rachel also starts to get very emotional where she starts to realize, I don't know, she starts to have this realization with Amy that she feels like she's going to leave the game soon. She's likely not going to make it very far. She actually starts to cry. She says she's just going to have fun and enjoy herself and have a good time here in the game. But yeah, I guess she just gets extremely emotional about the fact that she doesn't feel like she's going to go far. I can't say I blame Rachel. I'll be honest, there's a lot of people in the house. Rachel's name is constantly in a lot of people's mouths, and I think a lot of people sort of have this pact not to let Rachel get super far. So I think she's been safe thus far, but I don't think she's wrong in realizing that people are definitely on her scent and probably will try to start taking shots at her. But ultimately, that's kind of where the night goes. There's a lot of little buzzings and little conversations after noms, but it wasn't really chaotic. It wasn't really crazy. Let's jump into yesterday, which is Saturday, and talk more because we got a lot of the conversations before the veto, and then we even have the veto happen this day. So pre-veto meeting, we have some little talks. We have Ashley and Mickey talking about Morgan and Ava whispering about game. There's a lot of these conversations where basically someone will run to another person and be like, hey, I got these two people talking game. I got these two people talking game. These people are gaming all the time. And I can't say that I hate it. But again, there's just so many little conversations that don't turn out to be anything. Zach and Adrian are talking. Zach, or Adrian, let's say, is hyping himself up. He's just trying to make sure that he's gonna win this veto, get himself off. Newsflash, he does not win the veto and get himself off. And then the feeds go down for a little bit, but we come back and we find out that Keanu was made known that for his power, someone is going to be coming into play in the veto competition with him, or there's going to be an extra person basically playing in the competition. And if this person or Keanu wins, then Keanu gets the veto. So that's basically the double chances of everything. So everyone is speculating who's coming in.
What if it's not spelling and then you use me and abuse me?
It's moisturizer.
Whoever's coming in isn't going to
try to win.
No, why would
unless
they,
it would be like
why would they
Brenda.
do that?
We just look horrible for that.
Unless it was like
And Tucker is thrown out a lot. Kelly was totally convinced. She was like, oh my goodness, I might beat Tucker in a competition. That is crazy. But so many people are trying to guess who the person will actually be. Newsflash, the person ended up being Kaycee Clark. If you remember Kaycee, she was a veto beast. She was a comp beast. She did very, very well in competitions. So that's good that she won. Imagine if she lost. But anyway, of course, Keanu's going around the house still having these conversations.
You know, I called this out. I called this out days ago. And if all we had to do was come together, this could have been totally different. Jimmy wouldn't even be here this week.
No.
If it was Jimmy versus Amy, Jimmy wouldn't even.
He's talking with Riley and he's basically trying to like bully Riley. Not bully. Bully is a strong word. But he's basically telling Riley, I get it. I get that you're trying to save your own butt. I get that you're talking to them and you're telling them because you want to save your own self. I understand that you don't really want to play the veto and take me off if you win. I get it. I totally get it. And Riley's like, I never said any of this. I never really said I was on any side. I never told anybody anything. He's like, no, I get it, bro. I get it, bro. I get it, bro. I guess Keanu was expecting Riley to play the veto and possibly take him off if he gets the veto. I don't know, but again, Keanu, it's too harsh, too much force. Rachel, Jimmy, and Ashley are up in the HOH.
On like a journey or something.
The fuck does that mean?
It means that she could still
Clues
get her
and
veto
stuff.
too.
God.
How would she look in the plants above the refrigerator?
She's smart. She's
I
smart.
told you
If there's
guys.
something to
So
figure
we
out,
need
she'll
to
figure
find
out.
it
It's
before her.
clues, yeah.
Rachel goes to report that Kelly has to find clues for her veto. It's a Survivor style. And again, there's just so much debate about exactly how her power is going to work throughout the day. But Rachel, of course, is trying to get intel. She's trying to figure out, well, if Kelly does come down, because it seems like she's going to have this extra power, if anybody comes down, really, who are you going to put up? And Jimmy is quite hesitant to actually say the name of who he's going to put up. He's like, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. He's like, I have some people in mind. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And again, Jimmy, this is the problem. Jimmy was racking his brain all day about this situation because he started to realize, oh my goodness, who can I put up that I'm not aligned with? And again, this is why a 10-person alliance in Big Brother is a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. Because at some point or another, you are going to have to stab somebody in the back. At some point or another, you are going to have to put up somebody who's your quote unquote ally. And this is what I'm saying, where I think Jimmy, he needs to be careful because I really feel like he is making a lot of lofty promises to people that he's not going to be able to keep. And if people are smart, which I think Jimmy's trying to kind of play on the fact that a lot of these people don't know the game. It's clear they don't really put 2 and 2 together. But if people do start to put 2 and 2 together, they're going to be like, wait a minute now. Jimmy told you this? He told me this. So again, Kelly is going on her world tour around the house. Her next person is Amy. She does admit to Amy that she does have the power, and she says she's telling her this as a way to build trust with her. So of course, Amy is a little bit hesitant, but she's like, let's build, let's build. You know how Amy talks. Let's build, okay? She says, look, I might be friends with certain people. I might be with certain people or close with certain people, but that does not mean that I'm not playing my own game. I'm not playing for myself. So let's just build that trust, see where we go. And again, if we're in the rankings of the worst players, we still got Keanu down to the ground here, and Kelly is a little bit up. Now, do people really want Kelly around? No. I think Keanu is the priority. I think Kelly is still the second priority. But hey, it's better than being the first target for every single person in this house, right? Rachel, Jimmy, Kat. Like I said, Jimmy, whole day. Who am I going to put up? Who am I going to put up if both Keanu and Kelly come down? Because Jimmy was at a point where he was basically like, oh my God, I might have to literally nominate 5 people this week. And that is a lot of people. He does not know who to put up. He keeps asking them, who do you think I should put up? Like, who do you think I should put up? And of course, nobody wants to say anything. Nobody really wants to put a name out there because why would you want to get into the line of fire by putting out somebody's name out there? But it's just, I don't know. Jimmy's gameplay to me is definitely starting to become worrisome. So Vince, Riley, and Kelly, they also have a conversation, and the primary focus of this conversation is if Zach is trustworthy. Because at this point, Amy let Kelly know that Zay was never with her. For us watchers, it's like, yeah, girl, we knew that. But I guess for Kelly, that was an extreme shock that Zay was never on her side. So at this point, Kelly does know that she can't really say no to an alliance. But at this point, she does still only trust the 2 of them, Riley and Vince, and Adrian. Those are the only people that she trusts in this house right now. So she maybe would consider Zach, but I'm like, girl, Kelly girl, Kelly girl. You better hope your booty gets you off the block because none of this even matters right now. None of these people are even with you. Feeds go down for the veto for a little while, but we come back and we find out that Keanu won. But it wasn't really Keanu that won. It was actually Kaycee who won the competition for Keanu. And throughout the night, you actually hear that it was Kaycee and then Adrian came in second. So Keanu didn't even win. Or no. It was Kaycee that won this competition for Keanu. And Adrian is in second. So a lot of people start to talk about Adrian actually because he's coming in second in a lot of these competitions. Keep that in mind. He came in second in 3 competitions at this point. So Adrian, he's almost there every single time. So Keanu and Jimmy, they have another conversation after this entire thing, and it is about Rachel.
Are thinking that I voted for Zay. I can't just just be like, oh, hey.
Well, no, you told
totally
me,
didn't.
you told me, but you told me you voted to keep Amy. I mean, I don't care how.
It is about Rachel. Every single conversation that Keanu has is about how terrible Rachel is, how Rachel ruined his game, how Rachel has stirred up and destroyed everything for him. And I'm like, Keanu, the lack of self-awareness is crazy. Crazy, Keanu. So Keanu this time is talking about how Rachel was the one that actually stirred up things between them. Rachel is the first person that had anybody's names in their mouth. It was all Rachel. Rachel. So Keanu lies about his vote continually, but he slips up. If you listen to this conversation, Keanu slips up and he's like, yeah, I already told you that I voted out Amy. And Jimmy's like, what? You told me you voted to keep Amy. And Keanu was like, and I was like, when the lies catch up to you, but again, none of these people are good enough game players. Like, I don't know if anybody really picked that up, but Keanu slipped up completely because even Jimmy was like, wait, I thought you told me this. So at this point, though, Jimmy is trying to build trust with Keanu because, of course, Keanu is coming off and he does not want the potential of Keanu getting HOH. So at this point, Jimmy's like, look, I got bigger fish to fry. At this point, I want to get Will up because he's flippy floppy, as he says. And he's like, look, can you make me this promise, though? If you get HOH, right? And I put Will up. Let's say I put Will up this week and you get HOH next week. Will you put me up? Keanu's like, no way, no. If you do this for me, absolutely not. No way. Because Jimmy is like, okay, I literally have 5+ votes that I can give you. I have myself plus 5 votes that I can get you this week to get Will out. And again, this is where Jimmy is making these lofty promises that he has 5 votes available to give Keanu this week. I just think this gameplay is going to catch up so badly, and I think Jimmy needs to stop. Because what are you doing telling Keanu that you have 5 votes to get Will out? What are you doing? Why? And even more so, why are y'all targeting Will? Will of all people. Will, who has not demonstrated that he is any kind of beast. He has not demonstrated that he's particularly strong at anything. Why are we using our HOHs to waste them to get out these kind of people? Like, what are we doing? Ava and Zach's small competition. Ava's going on about how that competition was absolutely built for Kaycee. It was clear that she was going to win. Now, Ava doesn't feel like she's in danger, and she feels like the only way she'd go up is if Jimmy felt like she wasn't going home. So Rachel and Kelly, they have a little conversation in the workout room. And again, another person that Kelly is going around on her world tour to trying to fix things with.
I tried to play with Keanu before.
I know.
And he kind of screwed me over.
He tried to recruit me, too.
Yeah.
So at this point, they also sort of agree to have this truce. They also sort of agree to have this thing where they build trust with one another. Rachel even offers her safety. Let me see. She says, look, we're going to work together. We just won't talk necessarily. We're not going to be braiding each other's hair. We're not going to be all up in each other's stuff. But at this point, Rachel is essentially like, look, if you don't put me up with, they're all thinking it's a diamond power of veto, by the way. So if you don't put me up with the diamond, then I got you next week. I'm not going to put you up. I am not coming for you. I am not gunning for you as long as I don't get put up on the block this week. We're not going to put each other up. We're not going to backdoor each other. We're not going to do any of this stuff. So once again, the problem I have is that Rachel, we're going to see have a conversation later with Amy where she's like, yeah, you know, Kelly came up to me too, and she wants to fix things. And so there's a little bit of like, I don't think people really trust Kelly. But again, it's definitely one of those things where a lot of people are under the impression she's going to get a diamond power veto, take herself off. And so therefore they want to have her on their good side. So that is essentially what happens between the two of them, that they form not a for sure alliance, but more of a bond, if you will. We're gonna not backdoor each other, not put each other up. We're gonna just keep each other cool. And again, hey, Keanu here, Kelly here. Still very low compared to everybody else, but at least Kelly's trying and it's making headway with people. Keanu runs to Kelly and he is whispering so loud. He's like, I heard that he's putting up Will up. He's putting up.
Me talking to Jimmy, and he's like, okay, well, in a goodwill, like in good faith, I will put Will up as a nominee this week. Bro, all you have to do is win.
I can't even do it. But basically, he is telling Kelly that Jimmy is putting Will up. The numbers are all evened out. At this point, all she has to do is win the arena, and then the numbers will be evened out on both sides again. And he'd rather have Will out anyway because Will's a flip-flopper. Blah, 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 blah. Like Keanu. Oh my gosh. You know what? Keanu makes for Team Delulu feeds, and I'm here for it. Team Fun feeds, because I just am laughing. I was laughing so hard during the scene because he was whispering, but simultaneously yelling. It was crazy. Morgan, Amy, and Rachel. Morgan is next on the emotional train. She's been crying all day because for some reason she feels like she's in danger. She feels like she's about to go up. She feels like she's the next target. So she cries all day about this to a variety of different people. And I was like, girl, I don't think your name is being discussed that heavily right now. So not sure what exactly got Morgan so paranoid. But Morgan does have another conversation with Jimmy and they talk about the heavy hitters. And I'm like, oh, I haven't heard her name in a while. The heavy hitters. Morgan essentially wants to make sure that the 5 of the heavy hitters are very, very solid. So that way Rachel can rely on the heavy hitters and everyone in the group can feel that the heavy hitters is really something. At this point, Morgan is gunning for Reilly to go. And of course, what does Jimmy do? He agrees. Because every conversation Jimmy has, he makes you feel like he is on your side. He is with what you have to say. He is absolutely 100% on your boats. I don't know. But at this point, Jimmy says that he had a conversation with Catherine and he told her within the next 9 competitions or 3 weeks that she has to win something. And again, I was laughing so hard because I was like, imagine Jimmy coming up to you and telling you, if you don't win in 9 competitions, oh, you're in trouble. 9 competitions? What? Jimmy, who are you to be telling people when they need to win? Okay. Amy, Ashley, and Rachel, they have a bit of a bathroom conversation and they are comparing notes about Kelly's power and what Kelly told them. And overall, all I got from this is that it seems that the 3 of them are still not really buying what Kelly is selling. But of course, if Kelly comes down, it's good to be on good terms with her in case she wins HOH next week. So for the rest of the night, we get a couple of little things going on. Amy is crying. Amy is next on the list of criers because she feels like her time may potentially be up next. She feels like she's done. I don't know. Everybody was crying. Everybody was crying because they felt like their time was next for some reason. Will is talking about how, hey, they want to put me out. They want to get me out. I'm just an easy out. It doesn't make any sense to get me out. And I agree. I really don't understand the point in targeting Will. Morgan is paranoid still that she is in danger. She goes around and continuously has conversations with various people talking about how she feels like she's going to be next. She feels like she's going to go up. She's very paranoid. And Rachel, she overall gives us a little bit of opinion on everything about just how dumb it is to use the first 2 HOHs to get out Zay and potentially Amy. She's like, wow, cool. That's what you guys use your HOHs for. Okay. But anyways, that brings us up to speed for this morning. I am very excited to see today, Sunday, what they talk about, more conversations post-veto, because again, I think people are going to continue to run and run and run and run and run. So if you made it to this point in the video, that means you liked the video. So I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there and it inspires me to keep creating. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.